We were talking earlier about that leaked draft version of the government-backed report into HS2 that has been seen by the Financial Times and is on their front page. It says the cost could rise by, well, actually it says in front of me here, £1, but the figure is considerably more than that. Dominic said.
Yeah, it could rise by 20% to £106 billion.
That's the one.
And north of Birmingham, it might not be a full high-speed line at all. Well, I've been talking to Lord Berkeley, Tony Berkeley. He's the deputy chairman of the review. You might remember he resigned because he said it was all a bit of a whitewash. Then he brought out his own report into the project a week or so ago. Interestingly, his report, the dissenting report, said the eventual cost would be £107 billion. And the leaked draft version says £106 billion. Well, I put this remarkable similarity to Lord Berkeley when I spoke to him a short time ago.
Well, it's virtually the same number. They must have taken advice from my independent report and realised that this is likely to be the outturned cost, if not higher.
The other interesting thing about it is that it suggests that the line north of the West Midlands, north of Birmingham, could be de-scoped as not to be a pure high-speed line, but a mix of high-speed and existing lines. Do you think that's a realistic option?
Well, I think it's a very realistic option. That's more or less what I suggested, that if you stop calling it HS2 and call it an upgraded existing lines, and you'll get all the benefits of trains being able to stop at every station for commuters, as well as fast trains going through on separate tracks. And I think it's a very important part of the HS2 project, particularly up near Manchester, Leeds and Sheffield.
But I think we had Andy Burnham on the show earlier this morning saying that the North would not accept second best. He saw that as a second best idea.
Well, and I understand where Andy's coming from, but I suspect that most of the people who like to use the trains around Manchester and Leeds would rather have a really good commuter service, just like there is in London, rather than get to London half an hour quicker. I think that's the most important thing, to upgrade the lines north of, the lines around Manchester and Leeds and Sheffield, which have been held back at the moment because of lack of government funding, and that could change.
Do you detect in this, you're a long student of the railways and the politics around the railways, do you detect in this early publication of a draft version of the report a softening up of public opinion to extra cost and possibly not as ambitious a project in the end?
Well, I do, but it has to be replaced by some really serious investment in the North and the Midlands to give the people there what they want is a decent commuter service, and a decent services which are awful at the moment on many lines.
Dominic, when we hear about increases in costs, and we've heard several times about increases in costs, this last one is a pretty huge one, as you say, 20% or so. Are they making it clear why? What is it that they've suddenly realised they've got to spend money on that they haven't realised before?
Well, each time, this is not the first increase in cost. It went from 56 odd to 85, which is the current number, and now presumably to 106. Each time it's the fact that railway projects are big, difficult, expensive things, and for various reasons the cost goes up, mainly because of the extent of the project, the nature of the groundwork, all that kind of stuff. As you go along, you discover more things you need to spend money on, and the price creeps up. But this is a big creeping up.
And of course the politics of it is presumably what settles it in the end, whatever the price is. And we heard from Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, earlier on, and obviously there are pressures from all sides on the government. And it's a political decision.
It is a political, but it's interesting that this number has come out now, the 106 billion number, because if Boris Johnson needed the ammunition to de-scope the project north of Birmingham, which would be politically toxic, completely against the current message from the Treasury of levelling up and economic regeneration, he does now have some ammunition to do it, i.e. we can't possibly spend £106 billion on this project